Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to Haylen Ayers, one of the most exciting dual athletes in America in basketball and softball. What's going on, Haylen? How's it going?
I'm excited to be here.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see
having
you. So
me.
your mom was a Class A Miss Basketball winner, scored over 1,000 points for Vanderbilt, and was the first woman to coach a pro men's basketball team. That is massive. Growing up with basketball pedigree like that in the family, what was that like? Was that always a route for you going into basketball?
Yeah, I think it kind of puts like a competitive edge, a competitive spirit in you. Kind of growing up knowing that you have something to live up to. But I think for me, it's just something that it's something to work towards all the time, and it's kind of like a competitive thing. Like, hey, I want to be better than her. And so it's always been just a standard for me. And she obviously gets to teach me and help me grow in all the ways that she did. But she wants me to be just as good, if not better, than her. So, yeah.
So your dad, Joel, is your head coach right now at USJ, and your mom's the assistant. How do you navigate that? Do they switch from coach mode to parent mode after the game? How do you all navigate that?
We do a really good job of leaving the parent and child at home and then coach and player in the gym. As soon as we step off the court, it is now parent and child. And we do a really good job of separating the two and keeping one in one place and one in the other. I think the main thing is like most people don't understand the relationship that you have to be able to do that. And for us, it's kind of, we don't really talk about basketball in the house. We just leave that where it's supposed to be. And on the court, it's a coach and player, and nothing is brought into either one of the other things, and there's no favoritism. There might be every now and then a little more yelling at me than some of the others, but that just comes with being a coach's daughter. But yeah, I think we do a really good job of separating the two.
You're marked as one of the most exciting players in the country right now. How do you deal with expectation like that?
I'm pretty stress free as a player, as a teenager. Just I kind of live life just stress free. A lot of it is just I work at whatever it is that's put in front of me, and the results are just going to come from that. And I think living with that mindset, the mindset that if you just work hard, the results are going to follow, and that's just kind of how I live life. And the pressure is a privilege, and I know most people say that, but that is just that's how I move forward, and that's how I've become who I am, and I hopefully will become, is because I take pressure as a positive thing in my life, in all things that I do, not just the sport itself.
I feel like in sport, people are always dreaming about tomorrow, trophies, teams, accolades. And, when they speak about you, they speak about the WNBA and big college situations. But how important is it just to enjoy where you're at right now and enjoy the journey?
Living in the moment is definitely a huge thing, and you don't really realize how many moments you'll miss or pass up just by thinking about, hey, what's next, or what can I do more tomorrow, instead of just living in the moment. And I think that's one thing that's helped me grow as an athlete, is living in the one rep that I'm doing in the workout, or living in the one defensive stop that I need in a game, instead of, can I go get this game winner down the road? You know what I mean? Like, it's something that a lot of just people in life take for granted, is just living in the moment, because you're not guaranteed tomorrow at all, and you're not guaranteed to step on the court again. And I think when you have the mindset that, I'll do better tomorrow, well, what are you doing today, kind of question. So yeah, living in the moment is something that the earlier you grasp onto, the more likely you are to have success.
100%. So basketball is the more globally revered sport, but you're an exceptional softball player. Tell us about your love of softball and how far can you go?
My love for softball started even before basketball, and I have just hit the ground running with it. And it has been, a lot of people ask me, like, which one do you like better? And I think the easiest answer is, well, I like both of them. But for me, it's, I'm a basketball player, but softball has been my outlet these past 3 to 4 years, where basketball has been super serious. And it is, something that there's a lot going on all the time. And softball has been the outlet for me. And it's been, some people like it's music or drawing or art, just something like that. And softball is that for me. And so I get to have a full season of it in high school, but just whenever I need it, I have it, because it's the place where I can go and take my mind off of things. So it's something that comes natural and it's fun to me, but at the same time, I still love to do it, and I hope to do it as long as I can. Just even if that's one more year, if that's 4 years in college, who knows? But that is something that it's always been there for me when I needed it, a space to go. So yeah.
Because of your reputation, scouting reports suggest your mid-range game is the most elite part of your talent. Are people started to recognize that and double up on you now?
Yes. It's very evident in high school, but I would say in AAU it is now starting to pick up a little bit too.
How do you navigate that?
I think a lot of it is mental, and a lot of people would be like, well, I'm going to go work on this, or I'm going to add this to my game. And that's not me. My game is kind of my game, and that's just what I do. But I think a lot of it is mental, and a lot of people don't understand that at all. But it is a mindset, because mine started at a young age, especially in high school. At a very young age, it happened to me. And mentally, you're probably not ready for that. But the earlier that it happens, the more that you become able to conquer that mindset, and mentally being strong and stable in those moments, but also knowing like it's happening for a reason, and like you belong, you are that good, that is why it's happening to you. And I think the mental aspect of it is the biggest part, to overcome a double team or being guarded in that way, because it's not physical, because that's why it's happening to you. So it's the mental part of overcoming that.
Who's the gold standard for you in terms of mental toughness, maybe in the NBA or the WNBA?
Mine's easy. Mine's my mom. And most people, like you said, they have no idea. She was obviously the first first woman to coach a men's team in, the National League. And she just through life, especially, just losing both parents and still being a mom and all the stuff, like she has mentally been guidance for me, and she has taught me so much. And she would like to say that she's, the best role model in the mental aspect, and but she'll also admit like I have room to grow as well. But just being a mom and a coach, and then also being a parent to other kids that she coaches on the floor, it has definitely helped her grow, and it's helped me grow and see how strong she is mentally. And I think that's kind of the gold standard for me.
That's amazing. What a cool role model to have. So at 17, the youngest athlete on New Balance's roster. What an unbelievable achievement. You share that space with Kawhi Leonard, Cooper Flagg, Cameron Brink. What was your reaction when that deal went down?
I'm very humbled to be in a situation where I'm amongst those names that a lot of people are familiar with. And it's a very, very intimate culture with New Balance, and that's kind of how I live life. I'm very grateful to be a part of that conversation and within that program. So yeah, it's a really cool family to be a part of, and I'm super grateful to be in the position that I'm in.
For fans who don't know you but will get to know you, how do you describe your game and your character on the court?
I would definitely go with an unselfish. I'm very energetic. I like to lead. I communicate a lot, and sometimes people, when it's in the moment, it can sound harsh, but I like to get my point across. But the main thing would just be unselfish, and I feel like I'm a ball of energy on the court. I love to smile. Obviously, I probably haven't stopped smiling since I've been on here. So I enjoy the game. I just love playing it. So I have a lot of fun while doing it.
Even though you're still young, I mean, that New Balance deal showcases what a trailblazer you are. Your mom was a trailblazer, and being the first woman to manage a men's pro team. So how do you understand your role in being a trailblazer? And even at a young age, you probably got little kids looking up to you.
Yeah, I think following in my mom's footsteps it's always going to lead you in on a positive path in a really good direction. Obviously, she decided to take a path that not a lot of people were willing to risk or take, and I think that kind of stood out to me whenever you have a mom that's like that. And I think I want to take that with me. I'm not going to do what's casual or that's always done. Just for instance, like I don't say yes to everything. I don't need to go to everything that I'm invited to, or I don't. There's just some things that you can say no, or you can follow your own path, or you can do what is best for you and not what everyone else does. And I think that's something that what she did has now kind of led me down that path and created a name for myself, and has been the trailblazing moment, obviously, that has kind of led me to be my own person.
That mentality is massive. I often interview UFC fighters, and I often say, if you could fight anybody, any weight class, past or present, who would it be? So who would your dream matchup be if you could face anyone, almost out of respect for their game? Who would it be?
I think if I had, there's so many people that I would love to do this with, but I think just in a recent kind of, her name has recently been the hot seat. Just, I think Caitlin Clark, I want the opportunity to guard her. You watch her play and you're like, why are you letting her shoot again? But her shot is so quick, and I want the opportunity to guard her, not even the offensive opportunity, but I just want to be a dog on defense against her for one game.
That's a word that comes up. I was looking at your IG. How important is it to have that dog in you?
It's very important, and that is something that my parents preach to both basketball and softball teams, because it's not something that is just given to you. You obviously work for that type of thing, but once you get that mentality, do not give it back, because that's something that you can carry with through life and sports all the way through.
Do you think your trajectory is taking you into a golden age for women's basketball? Because I feel like the eyeballs that Caitlin Clark is bringing and her peers, the increased revenue, the better salaries, I feel like 5 years ago was a different sport, right? So do you feel like you're coming into it at a golden time?
I think women's sports are in a really good spot, and I don't, not just basketball. I think in all areas, women's sports are on the horizon, and I think it's a great time to be young, just with everything that's involved. And there has been so many people in the past 5 years, like you said, that have set the pathway for us, and we should be super grateful for that, because without them, there is nothing that we have today. But I think women's sports is in a really good space, and I'm happy to be living in the scenario that I'm living in.
What do you make of Paige Becker's impact? Everyone's buzzing about her right now. She's one of the stars of the league, and she's got everyone excited.
I think, well, we mentioned it earlier, I think she's a dog. I think she does everything the right way. And obviously, there's the behind the scenes part of it. But I think from what we see on social media or just kind of on TV, I think she does everything the right way. She does it with a smile. She does it with kind of the energy that just looks like she loves what she does. And that's kind of how people should approach the game, or you're not doing it for the right reasons.
You seem to have everything you need in this game to be massive and make a big impact. But that also includes off the court, right? And your mentality. How do you find social media? You make great content. What kind of content do you enjoy making? How do you feel about that side of the game?
Yeah, I think a lot of people try to make it solely about the basketball life. And I kind of fall into that trap as well. My life is basketball, and that's kind of what I do. And then there's some softball here and there. I think one of the biggest things for me is kind of finding time to put my family and friends out there, because that's what I value most. Because my circle is super small, but the people that are in my circle are my people, and that's who have put me in this position that I'm in today. So without them, I would be nothing. And so that's something that I take pride in, is allowing my friends and family to also have a spotlight, because, like I said, I would be nothing without them.
I saw a video someone made of a recent matchup between you and Maddie Minieri, saying that that's a future WNBA matchup. How fun was that game, and how fun is this matchup? Is that something that we're going to see burn brightly throughout the different levels?
It was a super fun game. It was one of those 8 a.m. games, so we got to have fun at very, very early morning. But it was a competitive atmosphere. We had coaches on the sideline. Like, it was just, it's really fun. It's always really fun to compete. My team will step on the court and face anybody, and they always have my back. So I'm very grateful for that. And to step on the court with another team that is just as competitive and wants it just as much as we are, it was really fun to go head to head with someone that's just as good.
Last season, you put up 40 points and 13 rebounds in the state title game, and still lost in double overtime, 64-57. How do you deal with that contrast of emotions? That's a dream game for anybody, but then it's still not going your way. How do you navigate that?
Yeah, I think in the moment, you just wish you could have done a little bit more for not just for yourself, but the person sitting next to you that has battled all the way to the last game with you. Because they're not just your teammates, they're your family. And so, when you end up not on top, it's hard to be like, well, that falls on my shoulders, and what else could I have done? I think after you step away, you have to see the good, or you'll always be chasing, which is a good thing. But it's something that you strive to be in that moment. That's one of the biggest games of your going to be one of the biggest games of your life, or in the life that you're living now. And so just being able to be that person that will step up in any moment, and kind of the person that my teammates have built confidence and trust in. They want the ball in my hands in those scenarios. So that's something that I take pride in, and I'm very grateful that they trust me in those moments to be able to do that. But I think when it all is said and done, it ends up being a team sport, and there's not much that you reflect on the word I in that moment. It's kind of, what could we have done?
People always say, if you could speak to your younger self, what would you say? But in this instance, what would you say to your older self? If you're in your late 30s, what would you want to say to yourself?
I think I would be like, slow down, live in the moment. I think life has gone so quickly. Just in my 17 years of living, I feel like I'm always on the go. People make the comments, or if I'm trying to get on the phone with somebody, they always make the comments, well, you're so busy, you're always going. And I'm like, I don't have another life outside of it. I don't know another life outside of it. I think it would be just to settle in and slow down and enjoy life, because these are the moments that you don't get back. And I'm living that firsthand, and I'm understanding that. But yeah, I think it would just be to slow down, enjoy the moments.
I think that resonates with all of us. We'll wrap up with a little quick fire. So, Coach Mom or Coach Dad? One quick answer.
Okay.
Who do you not want to make eye contact with after a turnover?
Dad, definitely.
Who gives the better halftime speech?
They both give really good halftime speeches. It depends. It depends on the situation that we're going into halftime with.
Who pushes you harder in practice?
I would say my dad.
Who texts you more on game day?
My mom.
Who are you calling first after a bad loss?
Probably my mom. On the phone, definitely going to my mom. Probably if it's in person, I'm definitely going to my dad.
Okay, agree or disagree, and why? The best player in the country should go to the best program, no exceptions.
I disagree. I think building your own legacy at any school is going to be the right choice. And if that falls, not in the best program, then I think you should do that.
Playing for your parents makes you tougher than any other player on the court.
This is a good question. I mean, I probably have a biased opinion. I think probably yes, because it's a hard situation. But that can there's two sides. There's two sides to that question.
NIL changed recruiting more than anything coaches say in a living room visit.
I think it has changed the game, but I think it's changed the game for the better. So agree to disagree on that one.
Losing a heartbreaker teaches you more than winning a championship.
I actually can agree to that. I think I lived that firsthand. So I won a championship in 24 and then lost one in 25. So and then lost one this year in 26. So I can definitely agree to that. I think it definitely teaches you more.
Haylen, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Going to be so excited watching your career continue to flourish. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I was excited to be a part of this.
Respect. Cheers.